find out.
What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I'm back today to give you guys a review of the End clothing collaboration with Hoka on the Mafate Speed 2 from the Overland collection. So this Overland collection is a joint collaboration between End and Hoka, and it's inspired by outdoor adventure traveling. Releasing alongside the Mafate Speed 2, they also released a Kaha low silhouette as well, and this collection released back in March. So these retailed for a price of $180 US or $230 here in Canada. And the official colorway for this shoe is Chive and Flan. So before we begin this review, although technically the Mafate Speed 2 is a running shoe, my review is coming strictly from a casual user's perspective. So if you're actually looking for a performance review for the sneaker, I'd defer to another YouTube channel because my opinions on the shoe is coming strictly from a lifestyle perspective. So jumping right into the details, the base layer of the shoe is constructed out of this tan or beige colored mesh. And you'll notice how basically the entire upper, it's free of any stitching. So this is what Hoka calls their no-sew speed frame upper. So instead of the overlays being stitched on, we have a bunch of these fuse overlays which gives you additional structure and strength and helps contain your foot in targeted areas. So on the lateral side of the right foot, we have Hoka branding, but then on the left foot, we have End branding. And then covering the front toe cap, we have the synthetic leather overlay, which gives you that added durability on the front end of the sneaker. Moving on to the eyelets, these are done in the circular finish, and they're actually reinforced with these metallic eyelets, which adds to the whole trail and outdoors inspired look and function of this sneaker. Beneath this, we have more of these fuse overlays. We have the Hoka logo found on the lateral side. Covering the heel of the sneaker, we have a TPU heel clip with Hoka branding on both sides of the sneaker. This gives you additional structure and strength around the back end of the sneaker. We have more mesh on the bottom of the heel, and then we have this small pull tab, which is done in this olive green color, but we have these two strips of reflective silver 3M on the top and bottom edges. In terms of laces, so this pair comes with 4 different lace options. The standard lace that they come with are these pale yellow colored laces, which I thought was nice and soft, but they ran a little bit short for my liking. And if you're not feeling these laces, they also come with a darker tan colored lace, a burnt yellow colored lace, and a deep olive green colored lace as well. Underneath this, the tongue is constructed out of the same mesh that we saw earlier on the toe box. However, running down the center of the tongue, we have this woven strip with 2 lines of reflective silver 3M, and then we have a synthetic suede overlay on the top of the tongue, and here you'll find Hoka branding pressed on in dark green. The back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe is covered in this tan colored mesh, but whereas the sides of the shoe are pretty minimally padded, there's a little bit more padding covering the back Achilles area of the sneaker. And then as far as the insoles go, so these come with a decently padded foam line insole. It's covered in a tan colored mesh on top, and we have End Overland branding pressed onto the right foot and Hoka branding pressed onto the left foot. So the upper of the shoe sits atop this extremely chunky EVA foam midsole, which is entirely painted in this cream colored finish. So this midsole looks extremely dynamic, it's extremely sculpted, and in traditional Hoka fashion, it's super chunky and beefy. And then as we turn the shoe over to the bottom, so here we have this Vibram Mega Grip outsole. So it's done in a mix of exposed EVA foam, which are these cream colored parts, and the gum rubber hits, this is actual genuine rubber, and you'll see how aggressive and deep the traction is. So the lugs here run very, very deep, which makes this more suitable to wear off the road. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about how these fit, so generally speaking, they do run true to size. So even if you have a wider foot, I feel like this sneaker accommodates wide footers pretty well. So pretty much for everyone, just go with your actual measured foot size and you should be okay. So for me, my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. Without knowing how this model fits, I got these in a size 10 and they fit me perfectly. Moving on to the comfort, so again, keep in mind that I only wore these just to walk around in. I didn't actually test these from a jogger's perspective. So with that being said, it's a very pillowy and soft cushioning, but the drawback to that is because it's so chunky, it actually feels pretty unstable and wobbly. So are they comfortable? That depends on your personal preference. If you're looking for an extremely well-cushioned sneaker that has a very dynamic, very pillowy feel to it, this is a great option for you. But if you're looking for a shoe that has a bit more stability, then I would definitely avoid this shoe at all costs. One thing I also noticed though is despite the fact that the midsole is shaped in this way, as you can see, when I'm wearing these and just standing around in them, the heel of the shoe sinks in lower compared to the forefoot. So it kind of gave me a bit of an unnatural feeling in that my toes were pointed upwards because the heel was sinking in so much. Again, this is probably just because they're made to be ran in, so the feeling I get from just standing around in them probably isn't the true representation of how these shoes are meant to feel. But regardless, it's something I definitely noticed, so I figured it's better to let you guys know than to not draw attention to it whatsoever. Finally, in terms of the quality and craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality was really nothing special. That's expected though, considering these are meant to be worn as a running shoe and off-road at that. So we just have all synthetic materials, just a bunch of meshes, fuse overlays, synthetic suedes, and a bunch of nylons as well. And in terms of the build though, I thought the build was perfectly fine. My pair had no noticeable flaws that I could see. My right and left foot were consistent, the stitch job was fine, the paint job was good, and no visible glue stains that I could see. So with all that out of the way now, let's toss these on feet, I'll lace them up for you, and I'll show you guys how these look. If you couldn't tell, I was just very curious how this silhouette felt on foot. I'm pretty new to Hoka as a brand, and for Hoka purists out there, it might be blasphemous that I'm buying these just for casual use, but there's something about the design of this shoe that got me intrigued. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't in love with the on-foot feel. Yes, it was extremely comfortable. However, the shape of the midsole, it just left my foot in an unnatural feeling position, which I just couldn't get over. But everyone's foot is different, so I don't want to discourage you from staying away from this model. It's obvious a lot of people have ran in these and they've had no problems whatsoever, so take my opinions with a grain of salt. So leave your thoughts down below. Let me know, what do you guys think about this End and Hoka Mafate Speed 2 in this chive colorway? I personally love the colorway of this shoe. It's just so perfectly outdoorsy while still being a departure from the usual brown tones. So leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think. As usual though, if you guys enjoy this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, check me out on X at sean.go_spoutout, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy this review, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.